He asked me to trust him with a little financial surprise. 2 weeks later, Credit Karma alerted me new lease in my name. I drove there, opened the door, and walked into my husband's second apartment with another woman's slippers by the couch. I brought the keys to Easter Brunch. I'm 33F, he's 35M. We're in Raleigh, North Carolina, brick ranch near 5 Points, a porch swing, and a goofy lab who thinks every Amazon driver is his best friend. No kids, by choice, or so I thought. It started stupid. A notification on my phone from Credit Karma while I was in line at Biscuitville on a Friday morning, new inquiry on your credit report. I frowned, ordered a bacon, egg, and cheese anyway, and swiped the alert open. Equifax. Inquiry from Oak Hollow Residences. I just didn't apply for anything. I don't even like credit checks. I drive my car until it squeaks and pay cash for furniture because my mother's voice is lodged in my head about interest being the devil. I texted my husband, Trevor, "Did you open something in my name?" 3 little dots. Then no. Why? We share a mortgage and one joint checking for bills, but we keep our own cards and separate savings because we're both cautious. He's in IT sales, likes acronyms and golf polos. I'm a project coordinator for a nonprofit that builds inclusive playgrounds. I like spreadsheets and swings. I called the number on the inquiry. A woman answered cheerful. Oak Hollow Residences leasing office. "Hi," I said. "I got a credit pull with your name." "Okay, what's your name?" I told her. She typed. "Yep," she said. "We've got your application approved." "I didn't apply," I said. Another type. "It was done in person," she said, voice tilting. "Yesterday afternoon. 1 bedroom, 12-month lease." "Can you tell me who did that?" My voice went tight. She paused. "It lists a co-tenant," she said. "Trevor, last name." My stomach dropped so fast it felt like bad carnival ride. "What's the address?" I asked, even though I already knew I didn't want to know. She gave me the building and unit. "Off Wake Forest Road, 10 minutes from our house." "Okay," I said, and my voice sounded like a person leaving a voicemail for calmness. "Thank you." I drove there because humans are moths to flames. A tidy complex, mid-range, the kind with gray plank floors and stainless everywhere. The leasing office smelled like coffee and a citrus candle. The woman at the desk recognized my name and did something with her mouth like she wasn't supposed to recognize anyone. "I'd like my ID verified on any leases under my name," I said, all business, because I didn't sign anything. She asked for my ID. I slid it across. She pulled up a screen and went pale. "Someone signed your name," she said. My signature was there. The problem? I actually have a distinct signature, kind developed from years of signing student loan checks with bitterness. The one on the screen had a loopy A, like a child's, and my last name mangled. "Who verified?" I asked. She looked like a person who suddenly wants HR. "He had a copy of your driver's license," she said, small, "and 2 pay stubs." My breath did that weird, shallow thing. I didn't give him those. They had the keys ready because apparently move-in date today. I asked if, as the name on the lease, I could do a wellness check. The manager nodded quickly like she wanted to be helpful to a woman who looked like she might vibrate apart. She sent maintenance with me. We walked down a hall that smelled like new carpet. The maintenance guy popped the lock. The door swung open. It looked like a hotel room someone had started to claim. A couch, 2 new, a TV on a console still wearing a price tag corner. 2 bar stools, a rug I would not have picked. On the floor by the couch, a pair of pink terry cloth slippers with white trim. Not mine. Not any friends I could excuse to myself under some generous mental gymnastics. In the kitchenette, 2 wine glasses drying lipstick ghosts on one. "Okay," I heard myself say to no one. In the bedroom, a brand new mattress still airing off gassing, an unopened set of sheets, a tall laundry basket with tags. The closet, polos, slacks, Trevor's lined up with hangers, all facing the wrong way because he never listened to my sermon about hanger direction. A second set of hangers, floral summer dresses, small, one with a Ross tag, a shoebox on the shelf, women's sneakers, size 7. The maintenance guy coughed politely and stepped back toward the door. "Ma'am, if you need anything—" "I'm fine," I lied. On the counter, a lease packet in a brown folder. I flipped to the page with signatures. There it was. His name. My fake name. A security deposit cashier's check from our joint account. My cheeks got hot. I took a picture of every page. I took pictures of the slippers. I took pictures of his cologne in the bathroom and the toothbrush he'd taken from our house because he's a creature of habit. I took a picture of a candle labeled Coastal Breeze because I wanted to remember that he has terrible taste. I walked out with keys I didn't realize they'd put in my hand until I felt their weight. I sat in my car with my phone and typed a message to Trevor I did not send. My body vibrated. Then the normal brain part returned with its clipboard. Freeze your credit, call the bank, text your friend Lauren. Lauren is that friend who rides shotgun for emergencies. She said, "Do you want me to buy a baseball bat or a lawyer?" I said, "Yes." Trevor texted, "Hey, leaving work late, want me to pick up Bad Daddy Burgers?" I typed, "I'm at Oak Hollow." Deleted. Typed, "We need to talk." Didn't send any of it. I drove home because I wanted the walls to be mine for a few more hours. He came in with takeout and his face like a man who thinks he can juggle knives indefinitely. He set burgers down. He kissed me. I thought about women who get surprised with a cake and how they smile like they didn't just die a little. "Credit Karma pinged me," I said, opening ketchup like we were regular married people. He froze a fraction. "Weird," he said. He sat. He started to eat. "I went to Oak Hollow," I said. "I didn't dress it up." His jaw worked. "Okay," he said, and then tried. "I can explain." "I'm sure you can," I said. "Please do. It's not what you think," he said, "which is how you know it's exactly what you think." "What do I think?" I asked. He rubbed his forehead hard. "I needed a space," he said. "For work, for breathing." "You needed a breathing apartment," I said, flat. "In my name." "It's temporary," he said quickly. "It's like a WeWork, but for home." "Do women come with the WeWork?" I asked. "Do they bring their slippers?" He blinked. The smallest flinch. "It's not," he inhaled, steadied. "Okay," he said. "I've been seeing someone. It's nothing serious." "My name is on the lease," I said quietly. "My credit? My signature with your little pretend loops. It's my debt. Is she living there?" "No," he said, too fast. "No. She's just... I don't want to bring people to our house." "How respectful," I said. He reached for my hand like he had any business with it. "It's complicated," he said. "I'm sure it is," I said. "But the part where you stole my identity? That seems simple." "I didn't steal anything," he said. "We're married." "Not owning me," I said. "Not the same." He kept talking, apologies, confessions, a stew that smelled like he'd been cooking lies for months. He met her at work. It started with lunches. He didn't want to hurt me. He felt stuck and unsure, and like he lost himself. The apartment was a safety net in case he needed space. "You could have asked for space," I said. "I didn't want to scare you," he said. "Forging my name is less scary?" I asked. Something in his face hardened. "I pay the bills," he said. I thought it was my chair scraped back. "Don't finish that sentence," I said. The dog lifted his head, ears forward. Trevor leaned back. "I want the truth," I said. "All of it. Who is she? Does she know about me? How long? How many times did you walk into that place and think she'll never find out?" He told me. "Her name is Jaina. She works in a marketing for a vendor his team uses. He told her he was separated. It's been 6 months. They picked that apartment because it was between our house and her gym. He used our joint account because he ran out of time to get a cashier's check. Ran out of time, I repeated, because my body needed a sentence to chew. Easter is next weekend, I said, voice steady now. My family. Your family. Be there at noon. Bring your keys. He swallowed. What are you going to do? What you should have done, I said. Tell the truth. I slept in the guest room with the dog pressed against my knees like he was a weighted blanket with bad breath. My mother texted a photo of a ham like she was manifesting normal. Saturday, freeze credit, dispute the inquiry, file identity theft report, talk to a lawyer. Nod at his serious face while he said, unauthorized use by a spouse is messy, but the forgery is not nothing. Change passwords, change the garage code, move my passport and social into a place he wouldn't think to look, the box labeled Christmas lights because he avoids anything that tangles. I found Jana on LinkedIn. Not Instagram. I wanted job details, a company headshot, a sense if she looked like someone who'd flip a table or send a thoughtful email. She looked like a person who brought snack trays to parties and stayed to help clean up. I sent her a message. This is going to be awful. I'm Trevor's wife. Sunday morning, a response that looked like shaking hands typed it. Oh my God. He told me you were separated. I am so sorry. Do you know about the lease? I asked. Oh, lease. I dropped a map pin. She replied, I'll be there at 1. I packed a tote with the lease copies, my ID, a notebook, the keys, my stomach. Easter Sunday, my mom set out deviled eggs and my dad's old jokes. My family is the laughter kind. They laugh about everything until there's nothing to laugh about, and then they put a hand on your back and keep you moving. His mother brought a casserole and her usual purse full of opinions. His dad wore a polo that said US Open 2012 because he's not subtle. The ham smelled like forgiveness. Trevor came with flowers from Harris Teeter and a face that said he hadn't slept. He kissed my mother's cheek and said, Happy Easter, like the words weren't borrowed. He tried to catch my eye. I didn't let him. At noon, I tapped my spoon on a glass. Everyone quieted. The dog sat like a good boy and stared at the ham. I have some housekeeping, I said, smile polite. My mother started to frown. My brother, who knows my voice like a weather app, straightened. Trevor opened a lease in my name for a second apartment, I said. I didn't sign it. I found it. I went there with another woman. People talk about rooms going quiet. This room got loud, gasps, forks, a Lord have mercy, my aunt whispered cussing. Trevor stood, hands up. We don't need to do this. We absolutely do, I said. I looked at his parents. He forged my signature. I looked at mine. He used our joint account. I looked at him, and he lied. The doorbell rang like a stage direction. My heart did a strange thing, gratitude. I went to the door. Jana stood there holding her car keys like a rosary. She looked exactly like her headshot plus 3 sleepless nights. Hi, I said. Come in. She took one step inside and saw Trevor and made a sound that lives somewhere between a cough and a sob. I didn't know, she said to me, to my mother, to anyone who would absolve her. I swear. I believe you, I said, because I did. The slippers had told a story, her face finished it. Trevor looked like a man about to sprint. His dad's hand shot out, heavy on his shoulder. Sit, his dad said quietly. He did. I thought they were separated, Jana said, voice shaking. He told me they were taking time. He said he was staying with his brother. he said. She stopped, pressing her lips together hard like a dam. I put the lease on the table, the fake signature big and stupid. My mother found her glasses on her head and put them on like armor. His mother dabbed at her eyes with a napkin not designed for real tears. His dad stared at the keys. Here's what's going to happen, I said, because when no one knows where to stand, a place to stand helps. You are going to sign a document today relinquishing any claim to that lease. I will terminate it with the apartment tomorrow. You will reimburse me for every penny that came out of our joint account as a result. You will not touch my credit again for as long as you live. We will separate. I will file for divorce. You will forward anything for the next 6 months because I don't trust you to remember to change your address. You will leave this house today with your essentials. My brother will arrange a time this week for you to get the rest with him present. His mother whispered, "This is a family day." My family is here, I said. We're having a day. Trevor stared at the ham like it might have advice. I'm sorry, he said, and his voice finally cracked for real. He looked at Jaina. I'm sorry. She shook her head. Don't talk to me, she said, small but sharp. I have to call my mother. And my boss. And the part of my brain that thought you were a gift. His dad exhaled and rubbed his forehead. You sign what she puts in front of you, he told his son. You apologize to her mother. You apologize to your mother. You get right with yourself with a therapist and a Bible if you have to, but you don't make this girl carry your mess. My mother put a hand on my back and I almost cried because I needed that palm like a plug for a leak. She doesn't always pick sides. She picked mine. We ate because we are Southerners and we will not waste a ham. It was the quietest meal of my life with the loudest heartbeats. Trevor left with a grocery bag full of his clothes and his laptop. Jaina hugged me at the door like absolution. Thank you, she whispered, and it felt unfair that she was thanking me for anything. I'm sorry. I squeezed her hand. We got it, I said, plural finding me without asking. Small USA local sentence, stopped at cookout after and got a huge sweet tea because my hands needed something cold and simple to hold. The next day, I sat in an office that smelled like printer, toner, and new carpet and signed papers. The apartment manager clicked her pen like pen clicks could erase the shame from her eyes. I'm so sorry, she said for the third time. We'll mark it as fraudulent and terminate without penalty. She handed me a check for the deposit. I handed her back the keys. They felt lighter. Jaina called her HR. Trevor's firm called him into a meeting. We do not condone personal relationships with vendors, his email said in the corporate tone of also, you are an idiot. I filed a police report. The officer's pen hovered. Marital fraud is weird, he said, not unkind. But forging a signature is forging a signature. He took my copy of the lease, looked at the curly little loops of not my name, and shook his head. People, he said. A week later, separation papers filed, my credit frozen, my therapist appointments stacked like sandbags, my mother texting me photos of soups like they could fix anything. The email started from his coworkers and cousins. Half we love you, half we had no idea. One from his aunt that said, men will be men. And I closed my laptop and went to the porch swing and let the dog put his head in my lap and breathed. Updates. Update 1, 2 weeks after Easter. I terminated the lease with no fees. The apartment complex was cooperative. Turns out they don't love being used as a set for small lies and big ones. I gave photos of the forged signature and a copy of my ID to the police. The officer handling it called to say the DA might file a misdemeanor charge for fraud because while we're married, the forged signature with a fake driver's license copy complicates the consent argument. I don't know if anything will stick. I'm not counting on the law to hand me justice. I'm building my own version with documents and boundaries. Trevor's company put him on administrative leave. Jaina told HR they took it seriously. She's transferring off the vendor account. No other consequences for her because she didn't break any policy. She emailed me from her personal, not work, thanking me for not blasting her publicly. I told her I wasn't going to turn a woman I don't know into a villain for a man's choices. We're not friends, but we're not strangers now either. That's a weird, gentle thing. I told my nonprofit's HR because I needed to explain why my concentration lived in a blender. My boss said, take what you need, and meant it. I went in anyway because swings don't install themselves. Small North Carolina sentence. Sat in traffic on Wade Avenue behind a guy hauling a kayak in a Prius and decided that was the most Raleigh thing I've ever seen. Update 2, 1 month later. Lawyer says the divorce could be straightforward if we don't make it a war. Equal split of equity in the house minus the joint account theft, which we can quantify from the lease deposit and any other small withdrawals that are starting to look like death by paper cut. He thinks will be done by fall. Trevor sent a long email with I'm in therapy and I don't deserve you and I'm doing the work. And for the first time in weeks, I felt not rage, but a weird, sad empathy. My therapist reminded me, empathy isn't an invitation. It's just seeing. I can see him and still lock my door. His mom called my mom and cried, real ugly crying that made my mother cry too because women like ours will always cry with other women, even if those women raised our mistakes. They talked for an hour. At the end, his mom said, I raised him to tell the truth, and my mom said, then he has the tools. He knows how to find them. I changed the Wi-Fi password, canceled his access to streaming, and felt petty satisfaction at the text, what's the new Netflix, unanswered. Jana sent me a picture of the slippers in a Goodwill box. She wrote, I got rid of everything bought for that place. It was a weirdly cathartic text to receive. I put my wedding photos in a box and put the box in the closet behind the vacuum. I'm not burning anything. I'm not displaying anything. I'm just letting it sit. Small USA local sentence, went to State Farmers Market, bought strawberries, ate half in the car with the windows down, juice on my fingers, and didn't cry. Progress. Update 3, 2 months later. The DA filed a misdemeanor count for obtaining property by false pretenses. I didn't expect that. Trevor's lawyer reached out. He'll probably get a deferred prosecution deal if he does a class and pays fees. Fine. Consequences without cages felt right. The detective called to confirm I didn't want a restraining order. I don't. He's not dangerous. He's just messy. I've lived in mess. I'm done. Trevor moved into a one-bedroom far from me and the apartment he tried to make. He gave me his keys to our house like it hurt his tendons. We walked through with a checklist like roommates who've decided not to be. It was banal, ugly, kind. He petted the dog too long. The dog wagged because dogs do not hold grudges. I do not have that luxury, he cried. I didn't. I cried later in my car to a song about a Walmart parking lot for reasons that probably are about trucks and also not. I went on my first post date because my friend Lauren insisted that you need to remember other people exist. A widower named Daniel from Durham. He talked about his kid with pride and his wife with love and asked me so many questions I felt like a guest on a podcast. We didn't kiss. It was nice. Nothing had fireworks. I came home and felt that was fine. I got a letter from Trevor's aunt that said, forgiveness is for you with a printout of a devotional. I put it under a plant and watered it. I'm not ready. Also, the plant needed leveling. Small local sentence, went to Wilmington for a day, walked by the river, ate shrimp, tried not to romanticize my loneliness, succeeded. Update 4, 4 months later. The divorce papers were drafted with terms I can live with. I keep the house. I buy him out of his share of equity minus what he took. He keeps his car. We split the 401k growth from the marriage window, which is annoying but fair math. We're doing a simple no alimony arrangement because I earn my own and don't want his strings. HR contacted me about a security awareness session. The trainer used my spousal identity misuse case as an anonymized scenario. People asked good questions. I stared at a scone and thought about how boring betrayal looks on a PowerPoint. Consider this a PSA, freeze your credit even if you're happily married. Locks are not accusations. They are locks. Jana got a new job. Better money, no tie to his company. She sent me a 2-sentence email. New chapter. Thank you for not making me the old one. I cried at my desk quietly so only my stapler knows. My dad texted, my actual dad, a selfie from a golf course with my brother, both wearing shirts my mom hates. He wrote, proud of you. He doesn't say that often. It landed like a warm thing in a cold room. I took a weekend and painted our bedroom a color that looks like cloudless afternoons. I replaced the throw pillows with ones that don't remind me of his insistence on gray everything. The dog jumped on the bed and dragged a pillow to the floor, and I laughed until I hiccuped. Small USA local sentence, stopped at Sheetz on I-40 at 11 p.m., got a milkshake, and the kid at the counter called me boss, and it almost fixed me. Update 5-6 months later. Final hearing. 10 minutes and a stamp. I wore a dress that makes me feel like sunlight. The judge asked the questions. My lawyer nodded. Trevor didn't show. His attorney did. It felt like both everything and nothing. I walked out, sat on a bench outside the courthouse, and let my shoulders drop lower than they've been in months. Lauren was there with sunglasses, coffee, and the knowledge that I'd need both. Trevor texted, "We're officially divorced. I'm sorry." I typed, "Me too." I didn't send it. I typed, "Please stop texting me." I sent that. Jana bumped into me at the grocery store, both of us in sweatshirts, no makeup, holding responsible adult food. We smiled the way survivors smile. "How are you?" she asked. I said, "Better?" She said, "Me too." We high-fived because hugs would have made us cry in produce. I booked a solo cabin weekend in Boone, ate pancakes alone, hiked until my legs felt like jelly, didn't get eaten by a bear, cried at a view because my eyes work, came home and put new sheets on my bed because I like the sound of fresh cotton, slept hard. Small North Carolina sentence, took the dog to Lake Johnson and he jumped in and then shook his whole wet life onto my jeans, and 2 kids laughed like it was slapstick. Update 6-9 months later. He pled to the misdemeanor, did a class, paid fines. He sent a terse email saying he completed it and thanks for not making this worse. I wrote back, "You did that," and deleted it. I didn't reply. I met someone, not from an app. At the playground install in Nightdale, the guy from the city's parks department who can reverse a trailer into a space without breathing hard and knows the Latin names of trees. His name is Marco. He asked me out by saying, "There's a taco truck on Tryon that will fix your whole day. You in?" I was. He knows the whole story. We did the 2 coffee dates, one serious talk plan my therapist suggested. He said, "Thank you for telling me." Didn't offer to fix anything, offered to bring salsa. He met the dog approved in 30 seconds like a poor judge of character, might be my only red flag concern, but we're seeing. My mom asked if I was scared. I said yes. She said, "Good. Scared people keep their eyes open." She brought me a casserole anyway. Little local sentence, ate hot chicken in Durham, sweat through my shirt, didn't care, would do again. Update 7, 1 year later. 1 year since the keys and the ham. I marked it by doing nothing dramatic. I woke up. I made coffee. I went to yoga and hated half of it. I took a nap. I met Marco for bowling because we both suck and it's fun to suck at something that doesn't matter. Trevor texted, I'm sober, which isn't the right word, but also maybe he meant faithful or single or present. I didn't dissect it. I didn't reply. Jaina sent a photo of her apartment with shelves she put up by herself and a caption, look, level. We are not friends, but we are each other's archivists a little. I'm okay with that. I found the slippers in my trunk souvenir I didn't remember stowing after the lease termination. I dropped them at Goodwill. I stood in the parking lot and said, okay, out loud to no one. It echoed weird and made me laugh. I finally unfroze my credit long enough to open a new card for points for a trip to New Orleans with Lauren next spring because she insists I need beignet and bad jazz to reset my brain. Small USA local sentence, sat in a rocking chair at Cracker Barrel off the highway while waiting out a thunderstorm, drank black coffee like an old man, and watched the rain hit the parking lot like applause. Update 8, 18 months later. Marco and I signed a lease together, not at Oak Hollow. We found a 2-bedroom near Shelley Lake with a tiny yard for the dog and a shed Marco is already trying to over-organize. We keep a whiteboard by the door that says this week, and under it we write trash by stamps, tell the truth as a joke, not joke. We keep keys on separate hooks because we're corny. We talk about money with our actual inside voices. We let the other person read the screen when we pay bills because transparency is the opposite of romance until it is romance. My ex-mother-in-law sent a Christmas card last year with a handwritten note that said, I hope you got peace. I did. Not the firework kind. The I can sit on my porch and hear myself think kind. The lab snores. The cicadas drone. The neighbor kid rides his bike in circles. It is enough. If you're reading this because your phone pinged with a credit alert and your gut dropped into your shoes, I'm sorry. Freeze your credit. Ask the question you don't want the answer to. Print your own signature and memorize it. Name the thing out loud even if it's at a holiday table with a ham in the middle. People will tell you not to make a scene. Make a scene if the scene is the truth. You are not a fool for trusting. You are a person. Build your locks. Find your Lauren. Save your dog from men who think leases are feelings. You are not dominoes. You don't have to tip. Final small North Carolina sentence. Got hush puppies at a roadside seafood place on Highway 70, ate them in the parking lot with napkins stuck to my fingers, and for a whole salty minute, I forgot every name I've said in this story and remembered my own.